Okay. How's it going, everybody?
Pretty good.
All right. Who wants to share some news from the weekend? Anyone get any contracts signed, submit any offers, have any fun, meet any new people? Go
I
ahead,
did meet
Lorinda.
some
I know
people.
you. What's that?
Yeah, I was over in Tucker. I've got a listing coming up, and my sellers are holding. They held a estate sale over the
Okay.
weekend, so I visited on Saturday and met the guy who's running the estate sale. Nice guy, great operation, and it was packed. Got a chance to talk to a number of people inside the house about the market and about the house in particular. And it was good. Previewed a couple other properties in the Tucker area just to give myself a better idea of, what is for sale, what's, what the market's like. Because honestly, so few houses have sold in this little neighborhood where my listing is. It's going to
Right.
be kind of tricky to figure out. So it's going to have to look a little wider, to get comps.
Right. Actually, that's one thing I wanted to speak about for 1 second. So, um, Lorinda and I were actually having a similar conversation over the weekend, which is comps should be done with respect to like the neighborhood or the elementary school and the price range and stuff. A couple of factors that I think a lot of people think are really, really important, but aren't really as important as you might think is like the year built. Right. Like
Right.
whether it was built in 1980 or 1984 is essentially irrelevant, right? If it's built in 1984 versus 2017, that's a big difference, right?
Yeah.
But don't get too caught up in exactly the year it was built. And also, um, if you can't find great comps per se, then focus on the price. And what I mean by that is if you say, well, I think this one's going to be somewhere in the 350 to 400 neighborhood, then rather than like working yourself to death trying to figure out another home that's between 350 to 400,000 nearby, just go look to see what's 350 to 400,000 nearby. Forget about all the other criteria.
Right.
And then say, if I have 400 grand to spend in this particular part of town, and I go look at what's available, what am I going to find? And how will I feel about the subject property once I'm done with that? Will I look at the subject property and say, oh my gosh, this is not as nice as the others? Or will I say the opposite? And if you say,
Right.
oh my gosh, I think it must be more like, 300 to 350. Okay, we'll go look at everything 300 to 350 and see how you feel. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
My biggest issue with this house is that it's so dated. I mean, it's in great condition. It's just really dated. The kitchen is really weird too. It's like a double galley kitchen. I mean, anybody who bought that house would want to totally tear up that kitchen and redo it. I'm sure of it. But
Well, can I challenge you a tiny bit on that?
go ahead.
You would.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, I would.
Some people might be dreaming of that kitchen though.
Hey.
Right. So don't put your take on their house. I love that too much, right? And then the other thing is, yes, that may be true, but you price it accordingly, right? So if you say, here's a home with an absolutely stunning kitchen, it's 400. Okay, well, here's a home with a lousy kitchen, it's 380 or 370.
Right.
You pick which one you want, right? Because this beautiful kitchen might have the wrong colors for me. And I might feel just as strongly about a beautifully appointed kitchen that's the wrong color, saying, oh, I got to knock all this stuff out, than I would a home that has a really old kitchen that I still have to knock out. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I see. Okay.
All right, cool. Don't take that as a lecture. That was for everyone's benefit.
Sure.
All right, who else wants to share some news about the weekend?
Yeah, I want to just comment on that because I learned that a while back working with the client. What I learned is to let the clients name the houses. So if they might be like, that's the house with the wonderful kitchen, or they might be that's the house with the purple closet. However they remember it, but I just always don't voice my opinion because I might think dark wood is really ugly and they might think dark wood is the bomb. So it's just what Bill said. Anyway, it's an interesting business. We get to see people in all different circumstances, but we have to suspend judgment.
That's right. That's right. All right, beautiful. Thank you for adding that. Okay, who else wants to share something?
I'm putting an offer this morning for one of my clients.
Awesome.
Nice. Feels good, doesn't it?
Good luck.
It's going to feel good when we get accepted.
All right. I like that. Love that. Okay.
I'd love to hear a little bit about the strategy, what strategies you're using. I think other people in here could learn from that.
Okay. Strategies to working with buyers.
Yeah. What for your offer? Like, what did you do in your offer to try and get it accepted, or what could you do? Because many times it's predicated on the buyer.
You think there's multiple offers going to be on this house?
Well, that's a great question. I tried to reach out to the agent and speak to them personally, and you get the voicemail, and then there's even in the seller disclosures or seller, what do they call, remarks,
Right.
They say just send us an email at this email address. So I did, just saying, I'd like to talk to somebody and see a little bit more about what's going on with the house. Is there multiple offers? I want to make sure my client wins this contract, and we'll see if I get a response. But as far as what have we decided to do, this is a great question, because Bill and he's been helping me so much to learn more about how to put in good offers that could be more likely accepted. And right now, that is the question: is are there multiple offers before we put in a final offer? So I don't want to, they want to overpay, and I want them to get their contract, but also sure.
All right, be careful with the words.
Yes, I always misword
They
things.
would like to submit an offer above list price.
They would like to submit an offer above list price.
They're whether they are quote overpaying, it is not, that's a judgment. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of exactly what we were just talking about. Right. So
would like to put an offer in above list price.
That's right. Because if you call it overpaying, they'll think it's overpaying. They're the ones that brought it up.
Yeah,
Right.
they sure are.
Right. So let that be the lesson for today is it's so important that we don't call, because when we call something that creates a reality around it.
Okay.
Right. So if I were to say, gosh, that's such an, I can't think of a good example. Like, let's say, Candace,
how much do you want to overpay for this house, Bill?
That sounds horrible. Okay. Yes, understood.
So here's several scenarios where we might consider going above list price. Here's some at list price or even below list price. And just remember, list price is just some random number that was determined by the seller and the agent in conjunction. And there's no authority saying that is like the value. That's what the list price is. It doesn't necessarily mean anything about value. That's why we have to go do our research.
Okay.
And I think that's another, like Bill was just saying, that's another area where we suspend judgment, because they might want that house really badly. That might fill all their dreams, and all their emotions are tied up in it. And we sometimes forget, sometimes we think our job is to, save money for people or negotiate really strongly, but our job is to facilitate what our clients want. That's simply it. And try and make it happen to the best of our ability.
Lorinda, how long has this house been on the market?
3 days. Today's day 4.
Okay. So yeah, I think that strategy is good to go over list price. Absolutely. If you're assuming that you're going to be battling against other people, you want your offer to be the best.
But you don't have to make that assumption. You can just straight up ask the question. Are there multiple offers? Or how many offers have you received? Or have you received any offers?
But also my question is, if my client wants to submit an offer over list price and the appraisal doesn't come back to meet that price, they don't necessarily have $15,000 to fill the gap. So you then have to say, did they list this house at the price that it would appraise for, or comparing it to others in the neighborhood, will it appraise for more than what they've listed it for? Isn't that a
Yeah,
strategy?
you
that's-
got to do some of
That's
that
like
work
3
too.
more topics.
You
Let me,
know?
res-
Sorry.
well, I'll pay $1 million for something as long as it's not my money. I mean, so in some ways, what your buyer is saying is like, oh, I'll throw a random number out there, but I can't afford it myself. So
Well, I think they're
what-
also inference, like the idea is that looking at other houses that we've gone to see, because we've probably seen about 20, that this house is not going to appraise for 175. It probably will appraise for somewhere around 180 to 185.
I would just put in I would first figure out if there's multiple offers. If there's not multiple offers, I would actually be a little reluctant to go above list price. But if they really, really want it, go to 190 and just put a regular old appraisal contingency in there.
Okay.
Right. And if it appraises for 180 or 185 or 175 or whatever, then you sort it out later. And the only way that I would consider multiple or an appraisal gap is if there's multiple offers.
Yeah. Okay. Understood.
But remember, this is only, I can only think of one time this ever happened to me, but there is no mandate that a seller in receipt of multiple offers has to go back to all the buyers and ask for the highest and best, right? So while probably 99% of the time you could do that, but you may get somebody that says, hey, I just like that other offer, and like I'm under no obligation to ask for highest and best. You should have given us your highest at the beginning. And that's a calculated risk you have to take.
Okay. Got it.
Right. But sometimes, like, whether you pay, 180 or 183 in a couple of years, is not going to make a bit of difference anyway. Right.
I listened to a podcast last night and said exactly the same words you just said.
Yeah. I mean, I bought the home that we live in now, I bought off market, but I definitely overpaid for it. But I wanted that house at that moment, and I didn't want anyone else to see it. And so my negotiation strategy was, okay, what do I have to give you so you don't tell anyone else about this? Right. Don't take my advice unless you really want a house at that moment.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Who else? Let's do one more, and then Candace is going to teach us all about the reverse bold 100.
Yes, I am.
Anyone else want to share any news from the weekend? Anyone grateful for anything outside of real estate they'd like to share? Okay, Candace,
All right.
take it
Well,
away.
All right. So mark your calendars. Dual career, I'm just going to say, if you've got personal time or you can take a personal day, I'm not saying to call in sick or anything like that, but if you have personal time and you can take the 23rd of February off, we are having a reverse bold in the office. Reverse bold is to get the idea of reverse bold, and it's called Bold 100. The purpose is to get 100 people to call you in one day by offering a valuable giveaway to your community and database. So we're all going to promote this to our clients, and we will have one giveaway that's a spectacular giveaway. And I've got to get with our vendor partners, but they had already committed when we were doing bold. So I think that won't be an issue. But also it grows and strengthens your database. So how do you get people to pick up the phone and call you? You want to make it fun. You want to make it worth the person's time. You want to offer something that you would want. We're thinking like a Peloton, and we're thinking like a Peloton or the mirror. Do you all have a preference?
What's a mirror?
I think the
Oh.
mirror is probably more relevant, like more up to date.
Up to date. Yeah, the mirror, Bill, is
Or two.
a mirror that goes on your wall. And just like the Peloton, you can have, it's like a ghost is in the mirror teaching you what to do for your training, right? And there's all kinds of different classes, all kinds of different, there's dance, there's aerobics, there's calisthenics, there's weight training, but you're looking at yourself in a mirror following somebody who's in the mirror. It's really weird.
And it sticks a little bit out the wall, right? So you can open the door like a big medicine cabinet type thing. So that all your stuff is inside the mirror. And then when it's not on, it's an actual mirror that you
That's
can just use in your room.
That's
Okay,
pretty
that's
cool.
cool.
Do you think enough people know what it is, that it will be a good giveaway?
No, maybe they need a little more explanation than the mirror.
Okay.
We
Okay.
name it something.
Well,
like-
we've got time to work on that. So there might be a small investment from each person, depending on how much the vendors, those are usually around 1,500 to 2,000. So depending on what our vendors give us, we're hoping that it will be no more than like $25, $30 a person. But to have 100 people call you and give you their contact information so that they can be entered in to get something, fantastic.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
Worth it.
We might go the other way too. So if we get a lot of sponsors, we might do like like a gift card of some sort, or a night out at a restaurant for for two on the house, or like some Hawks tickets or something. Like our hope is that we'll get a couple of extra things as well.
Yep. So, and we'll have a sponsor, I'm sure, providing lunch. So it'll be from 11 to 2 on February 23rd. You want to communicate with the
11 to
person-
2.
Yeah, we can change that up. I've got the room pretty much the whole day, but I just thought that would work.
I would say it's going to have to be longer than that.
Okay. Okay. I'm not done one, so I'll rely on you.
Okay.
So
So
just
just
tell-
block out all day on the 23rd. That's the day we all get back from Mega Camp, or not Mega Camp, Family Reunion.
Yep. Yep. So the office will be pretty much ours, and we'll be in the training room, and I'll let Melody know we need it all day. All right. Communicate with the person on a personal level that doesn't make them feel part of the system. Make sure you're appealing to the market you're trying to get. If it isn't appealing to you, it won't be to them. This is a great opportunity to send out those video texts and say, hey, I thought of you. We've got this fantastic giveaway. All you have to do is call in on February 23rd between such and such hours and such hours, and you'll be entered into the drawing for a mirror or a Peloton, whatever it is that we decide to do. I think the Peloton, I think the mirror is probably edgier right now. You want to give them a reason to contact you. You can do this. You can contact them by email. You can contact them by text message. You can call them, but it gives you an opportunity to reach out and touch your database. Give them a reason to contact you. Why would they contact you, and what would they get in return if they did? Incentivize them to call you. Well, we're giving away a great gift, so that's the incentive, and they need to call you on that particular date. Find a reason, identify what we're giving away, make sure we're giving away big prizes, map out your method, be equipped to answer the phones with a high volume of calls. And it says have people call in 9 to 2. That always plan one day. Don't have people call in over a week's time. This is the reverse bold instructions that I'm reading. Try out conditional call forwarding, sending the call to another number, Google Voice, office number, different cell numbers. This is big. One of the biggest pitfalls is being unprepared to handle a high volume of calls. Make certain you get this right. You might also consider changing the voicemail for the number you're advertising to something like, if you're calling about the giveaway and receive this message, please leave your name and number and we'll reach back out to you. So if you're getting 100 calls in one day, think about what that is. That's going to be on the phone constantly. So this might be a good time to try out one of those other services. And maybe one day this week we'll talk about those. Communicate and promote it like crazy. So how do you distribute the message? Create 3 to 5 different methods to communicate. You can send out postcards. You can text message. You can create a graphic to text out. I can't click here. There's a group me, easy texting. We have texting through our command database. You can have reach. Reach is a personal favorite of the person who wrote this. It can be a little bit of a pain to set up, but it's received as an individualized message. Let me just check that out right.
That's only for iPhones.
Oh, okay, thanks. And then Facebook event and video. You can do a Facebook event. Remember we talked about how to create your 100 perfect people, and you can set separate them into a particular list. Well, you could create a group for sports-minded people or people who want to get in shape and add to your database that way, right? And then you start broadcasting this event to them. You want to do voicemail messages, and you can do individual voicemail messages or blast using slide broadcast. There's a lot of technology available for this. But like I said, text messages are very personalized and friendly. So if you want to use text messages to your database, that's fine too. Remember, your goals are to build your database and to receive referrals. The ratio for this is 10-1. For every 10 call-ins, you should have 1 referral. So think about that. We've got 100 people. The ratio is 10-1. That's 10 referrals in one day.
So what that tells me is we probably need to pause for 1 second and just kind of think about what we're trying to create here, which is we need to prepare ourselves for the call. So we might have 5 or 6 we might have an intake sheet that we create specifically for this event, right? Where, let's say, one of the things that I want to get serious about in the years to come is respecting people's birthdays, let's say. Okay, so maybe on my intake sheet, I'm saying, oh, by the way, I want to get more intentional about writing, recognizing people's birthdays in 2022. What is your birthday and what is your wife's birthday, right? And you're just jotting it down, and it goes into your database. And then because you've committed to doing something about it, you got to do something about it, right? So you might say, you might have a question like, if you were to get I don't know, I'm just randomly thinking about something, but like if you were to get a $20 gift, any gift you would like, what would it be? Right? Or what's your favorite bottle of wine? Or what's your favorite sports team? Or what's your favorite vacation destination? Or what's your favorite thing to do on the weekend? Something like that, right? Mm-hmm. And then you know something about them. And when they call in, you're just running down the script, right? And then you have the intake sheet, you put it over in the stack of things to put into command, and you're ready for the next call. And then you can ask a question or two of those in the voicemail that Candace just mentioned, so that you can at least get something if they leave a voicemail, and then you call them right back, right? Yeah. And then it's also about it's about texting and video texting and Facebook living and emailing and doing graphics and all these kind of things to remind them of the event. And then you're just all excited. You're all happy when you're receiving these calls. And then afterward, you can follow back up. Hey, I'm sure you got caught up or forgot about it. We did a drawing. One of the things that we, we're asking our clients is, what was your birthday and what's your favorite thing to do over the weekend? So you kind of have I hate to say it this way, but kind of an excuse to reach back out to them to gather that information. It's just an initiative where you're saying, I just want to get to know my people better. Mm-hmm. So what am I going to do to get to know my people better? All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Yep. And I think also not just your database, but in the spirit of adding people to your database, you can do this, like I said, on Facebook and create a new group for people who want to get in shape or people who want to start exercising, and start broadcasting to them and see who calls in. And that way you can gather more information and add to your contacts. So when they call in, we're going to create a script, like Bill said. There'll be a buyer intake sheet, or sorry, not a buyer intake sheet. There'll be an intake sheet for these call-ins. So we want to get their phone number, their email, their mailing address. We want to ask them, guess how many homes were sold in this city last month. That's a way to start the conversation about real estate. And you don't want to keep them on the phone too long, right? Because you've got 100 calls coming in potentially. So before I let you go, you've probably noticed most homes on our market are either in poor condition or overpriced. I was wondering, who do you know that is most likely looking to sell their home? I don't know about that. I might change that.
Well, I don't know about the first part of that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I would, that's a great way to go into the 3 asks. Mm-hmm. Right? The 3 ask questions. Remember those? That is, when are you thinking about selling? Or when was the last time you thought about selling? The second question is, who do you know that's considering selling, right? Hey, the average person knows six to seven people that will move each year. And while I'd love for you to refer all 6 of them to me, do you think you could commit to introducing me to one of them? Oh yeah, I'd definitely do that for you, Ryan. Great, that would mean the world to me. That would be just amazing. And what can I do for you? Because you're showing so much kindness to me in my business. What can I do to help you today? Right. And you might have a list of all the carrots that you can offer them, things like the neighborhood nurture, a CMA, an equity analysis, a vendor list, filing for homestead exemption, all these kind of things, right? Your mobile app.
I love that. So be very clear with one simple message. We want their referral or their business. Secondary giveaway script. So after your reverse bold 100 is complete, use this as an opportunity to reach out to those who didn't participate. Call them and say, hey, we did a giveaway last week and I noticed you didn't call in. Just wanted to make sure you knew about the giveaway. If they didn't know, then you have some work to do on your marketing. If they did know and didn't participate, shift the conversation to a reconnect call or ask for referrals or reminding them of future giveaways. And then they have some prize ideas. So some of the smaller prizes in our world are a Yeti cooler, a Ring doorbell, a Nest. And I'm reading these in case you decide to do a reverse bold on your own at any time, because you can do reverse bold anytime.
Well, you can also buy a Yeti or whatever for you too.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, like, let's say you rely on us for the big one. And then you say, hey, we're going to also be offering a secondary prize of a Yeti and a $100 Amazon gift card.
Right.
Right. And then you just bankroll those. And you could also say, well, for every time that you, I think you're going to get to this later in the presentation, Candace, but, if you make an introduction to one of your friends or neighbors, right, because somebody wants to do a real estate deal or has some real estate questions, then you get an extra entry in, or you get 5 extra entries in, or something like that.
Yep. All right. So I thank you for that. And some of the other ideas are an Alexa or a Google, Samsung smart home, free carpet cleaning, window washing, power washing, gutter cleaning, yard care, anything you can do and upsell for the company you're promoting. A free warranty. I mean, that's a big one. That's 500. Day at the spa, grills or green egg, an Apple Watch, a staycation, the super happy fun day, weekend getaway in a cabin, stay in North Georgia mountains or Tennessee, Thanksgiving. Well, this is talking about Thanksgiving. His and hers bicycles with helmets and a water bottle. So that's pretty much all I have, Bill. That's all that was on this sheet. But I can tell
something we can take a look at or have a copy.
Yeah, of course.
Yep, I'll post it in the WhatsApp. I'll post it in our PC help. Yeah, but the big thing we're going to do this week is let's start creating who we want to market to. Let's start thinking about, are they a Facebook group? Are they a neighborhood? Is it a neighborhood potentially? Is it a group of businesses? Think about who you want to identify to market to for this giveaway.
That's right. And this is also a great opportunity to make sure that your database is as organized and thorough as possible. So, like, let's say you've got, a bunch of people on LinkedIn or whatever that are not technically in your database. You can use the next couple weeks to poke them on LinkedIn and make sure you know how to reach them directly, right? Or let them know about the event.
Yeah.
So this should be we should have a ton of contacts that day, easily 100
for each person. Right? For each person.
And we should be adding, exactly. And we should add a bunch of people to the database. That should be a day just where it's insane how much production we create.
And I'll post in there, there's something that I use that makes command a lot easier. And you can use your mobile app, which is a little quicker, but I use the command import template, and it's basically an Excel spreadsheet where you can just type in the name and phone numbers and so on. And then when you get a group of them, you just import them into command and boom, they're there. And so I'll post the command import template this week, and I'll also post the instructions for how to import, because that'll save you a bunch of time. And if you just, every time somebody calls in, you transfer them to that Excel spreadsheet, or you write them down, however you want to do it. And then you can just import them into command all at once. And you can pre-tag them and everything so that you know that this is reverse bold. You can pre-tag that way so that you know who they are.
What kind of questions do you guys have?
Are we gonna like create any group sort of flyer or thing? Or are we all doing this individually?
You're saying like, are we putting together the marketing for you?
No, I mean, not you.
I mean, I'm
specific-
not saying that. I didn't mean like.
I meant
that to
like,
say we're
are
not
we
willing
trying to do this like so it looks cohesive, or are you just kind of everyone's doing their own thing? That's what I'm just trying to figure out.
It's cohesive to your group. So you have your own group, Lorinda has her own group, Michael has his own group. So each one of you, we can create a kind of a template, but each one of you will want to brand it to you, because it's going to your group, right?
Right. No, I mean, I know you'd want to customize or brand it, but I didn't know if like
Like a
you know,
template.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't know. I mean,
We could give you a good head start with a template. The whole purpose of doing it all together is, I mean, obviously to create community and to, for each other for one another to push each other, but also so you don't have to bankroll the big prize.
do you know when we'll find out about that? Because that obviously makes
It's
a
going to
difference.
affect the marketing.
Or-
Yeah.
I'll get on that today.
Okay.
I'm going to see if I can find this giveaway that Dustin did, so you can see how simple his was.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
love to see a few examples of how other people have marketed those kind of things.
His was so, I mean, this is Dustin Kimberly. His was a picture of a little, like, copy photo of a cartoon airline, a cup of the Brave symbol, and then I forgot what the third one was, and then right behind it, it said something like giveaway. Call in on such and such a date and choose from one of three. And it just had that stupid little cartoon of an airplane kind of bent, flying. And it said 2 tickets on Delta, value $500. Everything was value $500. 2 tickets to the Braves game, value $500, and 2 tickets to whatever else it was, and it was value $500. And the person got to choose. But it was so simple, and just like, we can actually get Fiverr to do something very, very quick for us once we know. I'll get with I'll do some research today and get with our vendor partners and see what our budget is.
Cool.
Yeah, I was
Beautiful.
going to ask if we would get like a flyer or something that we could like post on our social media, like talking about it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about with
Yeah,
Fiverr.
okay.
We can get them to create
Oh,
something.
you said Fiverr.
And then
Okay.
you'll have to brand it for yourself.
Okay.
And this will be a good, I mean, like Bill was saying, this is a great opportunity to get a bigger prize, but you can do a reverse bold anytime. I mean, if you've got a friend who owns a restaurant and you can sponsor a dinner, you can do hey, this week do it for your database and say, hey, I'm giving a giveaway. Who do you know who might want to go to dinner? Who loves Mexican? And you could do a Facebook group, who loves Mexican food in Atlanta, and then do a giveaway to a Mexican restaurant. So it doesn't have to always be big prizes. That's just I mean, Dustin's totaled 1,500. We're giving away one that's kind of 1,500. And that's just because we have the power of the group. So please, if you are dual career, or if you are a busy person, or whatever else, mark your calendar for all day on the 23rd, and let's get some action. This could result in transactions for you all. If you have 10 referrals and even 6 of them come true, that's more than a lot of agents do all year.
A lot more. And by the way, we have a tendency, to kind of be like, oh yeah, I'll deal with that later. And then it's kind of like an open house, right? If I spend 6 days working on an open house and thinking about an open house and, you know, putting out signs and telling people about it and making calls, I'm gonna have a great open house. If I kind of blow it off until the 23rd, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll come in a little late to the office, ain't nothing's gonna happen.
Yep.
Make sense?
Yeah, this is we need to build momentum, and build excitement, build excitement, build excitement. You know, I'd be posting, I'd be checking in with my group saying, only, you know, what the countdown is on, only so and so number of days until the big reveal, you know, or the big giveaway. And then I would ask questions like, what's your favorite way to work out? Or if you won this, what would you do? Or I would just be asking questions around it to build excitement and get people engaging.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys, don't forget, take a moment, please, to put your numbers in for this last week that just ended. And I'll go ahead and tell you our results from this last, from January. We're a little ahead of what I had guessed as our goal for company dollar. We are a hair behind on units and on volume. And we're actually a little bit behind on appointments too. We did have our second best month ever in terms of company dollars. So I just want to congratulate you guys on that. But we really want to encourage you to focus on appointments this month. The more people that you meet with, remember, over 70% of the time you meet with a prospect, they're going to work with you. And that's because they're only going to look at one agent. They're only going to interview one agent. So let's push for that appointment. Don't forget that script. Hey, sounds like we should meet. Hey, sounds like we should meet. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Sounds like we should meet. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. Sounds like we should meet. Get in front of them. Make sense? Candace, thank you very much for your preparation today. If you guys have any questions or feel compelled to help with any of the templates or any of that kind of stuff, we're more than happy to work with you and appreciate that. And don't forget, we've got a bunch of stuff on the calendar this week. So we have a Homeward seminar on Thursday. We've got a SES class on listings on Wednesday. Book club, the insurance guy from Capstone Financial is coming in tomorrow. Ignite 2.0, Spark 4 is at the end of the day from 3:45 to 5:45. Got lots and lots of stuff going on this week. So you guys have a great day.
Hey, real quick, are we allowed to go to that Spark class
Yep.
even if we didn't go to 1 through 3?
Yep.
Okay.
It's all free. It's all for your benefit.
Okay.
You go to whatever you want. And if somebody gives you pushback, just tell them, come talk to me. You go to whatever you want.
Let's hear
Okay.
one thing before we go. Dorinda, what's your one thing for today?
Okay, my one thing. I was gonna go to the class this morning for the license law, but I'm going to make sure I call 10 people.
Fantastic. Michael?
I'm writing 10 letters.
What kind of
handwritten
letters?
today.
Thank you, letters. Nice, nice. Ryan, how about you?
I have 12 people I want to try to call today, and I also have to finish up my 10 letters.
Fantastic. Tracy, how about you?
You just went home.
I didn't post a video last week, but I did do personal videos that I sent out to people, and I will be calling people today. Just
Fantastic.
going through my list and just calling people.
Yeah, and you can also call the people you texted and say, hey, did you see my video text?
I
What'd
will
you
do
think?
that.
What'd you think? Oh my gosh, I was so nervous, whatever. But then make it about them, turn it right around and make it about them. What's going on with you? That kind of thing.
Exactly.
All right, Lorenda with an O.
Hi, I'm coming in for class this afternoon. Finish up Ignite 3,
Fantastic.
class 3.
And John, how about you?
I'm going to be working on some stuff I should be doing honestly every day, which I need to practice my scripts and make sure I'm getting better at practicing my scripts on a daily basis.
If you don't already have a script role play partner, you can put a request in the PC help chat. And there's more than likely somebody who wants to also practice scripts or needs
Yeah.
to practice scripts.
If I could give you some advice on that, I would say rather than saying I'm going to practice my scripts today, I would say I'm going to practice this particular script for 15 minutes. Right?
Okay.
Because
Right.
practicing scripts is really kind of daunting, right? I mean, there's like 100-page script books, right?
Right.
So that's like, I'm going to climb this big mountain today. Just say, I'm going to climb as much as I can for 15 minutes. Right?
Makes sense.
And say, hey, the one I feel the weakest on right now is buyer objections or the commission objections for sellers. Okay, so just lock yourself in a room for 15 minutes and say it as many times as you can.
Okay.
Right. And then you can check it off and then you move on to something else you're uncomfortable about. Right. But
right.
You see my point?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. All right, my one thing is I am I'm going to set 4 appointments today. I'm going to set a lot of appointments today. I'm writing it down right now.
All right. My one thing is coaching all day. And I have two conversations with two appointments with people that are outside of our brokerage to talk to. All right, everybody, have an awesome
Good luck,
day.
everybody.
All right, take care, guys.
Thanks.
Bye, thank you.